The 1967 Liberty One dime from the United States of America is one of those fascinating coins that often hides in plain sight, quietly passing from hand to hand while carrying a deep story of American history, economic change, and numismatic interest. When most people hear the phrase Liberty dime, they often think of the famous Mercury dime design, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head dime, which was originally created by sculptor Adolph A. Weinman and first introduced in 1916. Although the Mercury dime design officially ended in 1945 and was replaced by the Roosevelt dime, many collectors and everyday people still refer to later dimes in circulation simply as Liberty dimes out of habit. The year 1967 sits right in the middle of one of the most dramatic transitions in U.S. coinage history, making the 1967 dime especially interesting for collectors and history lovers alike. This was a period when the United States was dealing with coin shortages, rising silver prices, and major changes in how coins were produced, and every 1967 dime you see today is a direct product of that turning point. To understand why the 1967 dime matters, we need to step back and look at what was happening in the early and mid-1960s. For decades, U.S. dimes have been struck in 90% silver, which gave them intrinsic metal value along with their face value. But by the early 1960s, the market price of silver began to rise sharply. People started pulling silver coins out of circulation because the metal inside them was becoming worth more than the number stamped on the coin. This created a nationwide coin shortage. Vending machines, banks, and businesses struggled to get enough small change. In response, the U.S. government passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed silver from dimes and quarters and reduced it in half dollars. Starting in 1965, dimes were struck using a copper-nickel clad composition instead of solid silver. The 1967 dime is therefore part of the early clad era, a new generation of American coins made for durability and cost efficiency rather than precious metal content. The design on the 1967 dime continues the Roosevelt dime style that began in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II and was closely associated with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. On the obverse or front of the coin, you see the left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, along with the word Liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and the date 1967. The portrait is clean, strong, and practical, reflecting the modern style amid 20th century American coinage. On the reverse, you find a torch in the center symbolizing liberty, with an olive branch for peace on one side and an oak branch for strength and independence on the other. The words United States of America and one dime circle the design, along with the motto E pluribus unum. Even though the coin is small, the symbolism is powerful and carefully balanced. One unique feature of 1967 dimes, and coins from 1965 through 1967 in general, is the absence of mint marks. Normally, U.S. coins show a small letter indicating where they were made, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But during the coin shortage crisis, the Mint removed mint marks temporarily to discourage collectors from hoarding coins from specific facilities. As a result, all 1967 dimes appear without a mint mark, even though they were produced at multiple mint locations. This makes them different from most other years and gives them a special place in modern coinage history. For new collectors, this often causes confusion, but for experienced numismatists, it's a well-known and important detail. Production numbers for 1967 dimes were extremely high because the Mint was working hard to flood the economy with coins and end the shortage. Hundreds of millions were struck, which means the coin is still very common today in circulated condition. Because of this high mintage, most worn 1967 dimes are worth only their face value. However, condition changes everything in coin collecting. Uncirculated examples with sharp details, full luster, and nowhere can carry a premium. Coins graded in very high mint state levels, especially those with exceptional strike quality and clean surfaces, can be worth significantly more than 10 cents. Collectors look closely at Roosevelt's hair detail, the cheek and jaw area, and the torch lines on the reverse to judge quality. Another area of interest for 1,967 dimes is error and variety coins. Because of the massive production volume and the pressure on mint facilities, Mistakes did happen. Some coins show double die features, off-center strikes, clip planchets, or die cracks. These errors can transform an ordinary coin into a collectible piece worth many times face value. Even small anomalies like strong die breaks or unusual strike characteristics can attract attention in the collector market. Searching through rolls of dimes or old collections for these hidden varieties is one of the most exciting parts of the hobby, because valuable finds can still turn up unexpectedly. Special mint sets were also produced in 1967 instead of traditional proof sets. Due to the ongoing coin shortage and production adjustments, the Mint issued special mint sets, SMS, for collectors. These sets featured coins with a higher quality finish than normal circulation strikes, but not quite the same deep mirror effect as classic proofs. A 1967 SMS dime often has a more polished look and sharper detail. High-grade SMS coins, especially those with strong cameo contrast between frosted design and reflective background, are popular with collectors and can command solid premiums. If you ever encounter a 1967 dime with an unusually sharp, glossy appearance, it may have come from one of these special sets. What makes the 1967 dime truly compelling is not just its design or value, but its story. It represents a moment when the United States changed the very foundation of its coinage, moving away from precious metal toward modern clad technology. It reflects economic pressure, government response, and industrial adaptation all in one small piece of metal. For collectors, it serves as a gateway coin, affordable, accessible, and historically rich. For everyday people, it's a reminder that even the smallest objects in our pockets can carry big stories. So the next time you see a 1967 US dime, take a closer look. You might be holding a small but meaningful artifact from a major turning point in American monetary history. And in the world of coin collecting, knowledge like that is just as valuable as silver or gold.